Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into the 145th episode. Right on time. Right on time.
What is
Dude,
Right on time.
had to make it, man. Had to
he
make
seen
it.
that. He seen that notification hit the bell like the Blitz boys are live, and he said, "I'm going in."
People need to learn
What
that.
uh
Turn
what
on the notifications.
what James Harden said a couple years ago in the art when I think it was a video interview. He said, "Little baby, they gonna be at the club. I gotta go experience this. I gotta see what it's about."
Oh, oh, never mind. I thought we were talking about
Daryl Morey is a liar. Daryl Morey can do no wrong.
Terrell Murray. It's a liar. It's
After he
crazy.
drafted, after he drafted VJ. I mean, you guys watching the Sixers too?
I'm keeping
I
my
haven't
eye
lived with
on
them
him.
before.
Yeah, Cavs caught up a little bit, but VJ
Yeah,
is nice, man. That kid's got it.
it's nice that this damn game is on TV, so I
Mhm.
ain't gotta go illegally look for it. I didn't even know that it was gonna be on TV. My brother got married today. We were leaving a reception. I looked up at the TV and I seen Sixers Cavs up next, ESPN. I said, "Oh, okay, that's nice."
I'd like to see that. Well, with the Sixers, at least, they seem to have a direction for where they're trying to go this year. I mean, we'll see if it lasts, but the Eagles are now looking for a new direction. Thankfully, Patullo is gone. It seems like
It's
he's
your
out of
first
the
time.
picture.
It's your first time being on pod since he got fired. What do you think?
It's about goddamn time. I mean, we were asking for it the beginning of the season. Like we just knew it wasn't going to work. Tried to give them credit where credit was due, but I don't think that credit was due, and that's the issue that we're seeing right now. Because like we gave Nick credit for last year, but Nick didn't select the OC last year. So maybe that credit was misplaced, and we were all riding a Super Bowl high, and I think it's valid. That happens, and you can be excited by what happened, but this also shows the reality of the situation. Like I texted you guys. I'm glad they lost the way that they did because they lost, winning the turnover battle, winning time of possession, doing all those things. But hey, if you don't have a consistent game plan, have the ability to adjust, play two halves of football, you're not going to be able to just flip a switch and win. I thought that just it showed a level of like it was like
Arrogance.
yeah, it was arrogance. It was too cocky, Like it's like I get it. You can be comfortable in the playoffs. You can be like, we're ready to play our best ball in the playoffs. But like, if you really just think, oh, we're gonna flip a switch and we just do it better than everybody else, I mean, it's immature, and it doesn't show a well thought out process, and that's disappointing because you lost a year of this core of this defense being this young. Like, no team in the NFL stays the same every single year, right? There's changes everywhere. We're gonna have to see changes. Howie Roseman was talking about. We're gonna see changes. These
Term
teams.
that he utilized is natural transition.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead, keep your thing. I just was
Oh
giving you the
no,
list.
yeah. I mean, I mean, I'm just it. Yeah, it's just time. Things are gonna change now. We lost an opportunity. That sucks. I wasn't even too torn up at the end, bro. It really just felt like 2023, where they sucked the love out of like watching football. It wasn't fun. It felt like I was texting my brother. I felt like I watched this year because it was like, oh, the Eagles are on. You got to watch. Like, hopefully they'll figure it out this week. But there wasn't like an enjoyable week. Maybe the Vikings game. I can look back to, but it was just frustrating every single week seeing the same thing over and over and over again, and then them going into press conferences. Oh, we know what we got to do. We're gonna figure these things out, and they never
They
figured it
never
out.
got. Yeah.
They never figured it out. So, I mean, I'm excited now. We get to look at some OC candidates. We're gonna be able to talk about what the team might look like. Some of the comments that we heard, but I think we'll get to it with the OCs. But the future can be bright, but there's got to be wholesale change. It can't just be like,
Did you
oh,
click
we're
the
gonna
link?
just, huh?
Did you click the link?
Oh, I have not read.
Did you click the link? He
I have
didn't
not
read
read
the
it
link,
yet.
you guys. It's live podcasting.
I'm gonna read it right now while we're on
The meeting room. Did you read the article? Oh, not yet, man. I'll give it a read. We in front of the people. He was like, "Me read your article? Go to hell, man! I didn't click that shit."
No, I gotta read it. It's been a crazy day. But I mean, so you guys want to start with the press conference? Should we start with the OCs?
Yeah, let's
I
start.
think
Let's
that's
start there.
a good place to start press
Yeah.
conference.
So we want to
Howie
start at the
Roseman,
top, or
what's up?
I said we want to start at the top, or but it sounded like you had a blueprint.
Yeah. Let me get my spiel, and then we dive into it. Howie Roseman, Nick Sirianni met the media on Thursday for the end of the season press conference. Thought it was a lot of interesting thing. Like, it wasn't like any concrete, like, oh my gosh, they gave this tidbit of information as far as like things that you could take away. But like, I think there were some interesting things. I guess I'll kick it off here first. Thought it was interesting hearing Nick talk about how much the offense needed to evolve. I think that's significant because, if you look at after 2022, I think it was a Jeff McLean article, but there was a quote from Nick where he talked about how schematically or play wise, they didn't necessarily need to add anything new into there. It more so was just kind of tightening up and getting better at the things that they were already doing. So it was kind of, refreshing to hear him say, hey, like, this offense, my scheme, my system, whatever you want to call it, it needs to evolve. And it was kind of similar to when they brought in Kellen and how we talked about how stale the offense had gotten. So I think that was kind of significant.
Yeah, man. I'm sure you all, those of you who clicked the link. No, I'm messing with you, brother. I'm sure
I
you
already
all.
opened it up. I made it about halfway through, so
I appreciate you, man. That's a real friend. But I'm sure you all have seen basically my spiel on it all. The thing that stood out the most to me about that was, like I put in the article, the collective hearts breaking, not just of those who once believed in Nick Sirianni, but Nick Sirianni himself, who loves to keep his hand in the proverbial offensive cookie jar. And like you just said, Pierre, his offense, his scheme, all that stuff, like from day one, he has let it be known how he feels about it. And he's an offensive play caller. Well, not a play caller, but he's an offensive guy. All of these guys feel this strongly about them in the offense, that's their baby. That's what got them here. That's what they want to continue to strive off. So to hear him kind of begin with the whole, and I mean, even what he was saying, and shout out to Howie for giving them a lifeboat later on in it all, because it did kind of sound bad initially, where he's like, well, I don't want to say it's immediately going to be change, or it's not just going to be my office and this, that, and the third, but you can hear him as he continued to speak, not just in that moment, but as the presser continued to go along, the slow walk back, basically, I'm going to take my hand off it. Whoever I bring in, this will probably be his show, things that of nature. Now, what did stand out to me about that is between that and Howie Roseman basically throwing out the bat signal, like, look, we don't care if you're going to be here for 1 year or 15 years. We trying to hire the best play caller available. Between that and everything that's going on with Nick, it does seem like they're moving away from what makes them successful, or not necessarily what makes them successful. But I do think they're looking for a bit of a refresher in the room. Someone who can bring better ideas. But what stood out about all that, from, like I said, Howie giving him the light vote and them saying they don't care who they hire, I think we thought it was always going to be some veteran guy. And we'll talk about some names later on. But I truly think there's a chance that they might bring in some wide left guy that we didn't think about when we first had these conversations 2-3 weeks ago about who could the Eagles hire an offensive coordinator, some young fella where Nick probably should still have his hands somewhere in the cookie jar, but this is his offense. Basically, somebody they want to watch grow, but they believe in. And I mean, like I said, we'll touch on some names. I got somebody specifically in mind that kind of stands out for that role specifically, but
I thought it was also interesting to hear kind of how he kind of voice like what he liked about what the organization loves and likes about Nick, where he went to like, oh, he's a lead at game management, he's a lead at talking about taking care of the ball, he's a lead at teaching fundamentals, different things like that. And I think that's significant because it's like it's a formula that works, right? Like Nick is like you just talked about. They're kind of removing his hand from the cookie jar. I think he's comfortable with kind of ceding some of that, I guess, control. Versus if you look at like the previous head coach with Doug, where it's like they try to tell him, hey, bro, you're not making Preston Taylor your offensive coordinator. He was like, oh, well, no, just fire me. Versus Nick, he's comfortable with that. And I think that kind of like we talked about before, like that's one of his like superpowers, kind of his adaptability.
Adaptation.
Yeah. So
well, to
that was
push
an
back,
interesting tidbit.
agreed. But I think to push back, Nick has to be willing to adjust too, right? He can say all the right things, but we've seen in the past where he'll adjust and then you kind of they always just kind of make their way back to the mean, right? And I think what we learned, I mean, look, he gives up play calling early on, right? But then he wants to get back involved when Brian Johnson is around. He's like, oh, I'm gonna get involved. Then Kellen Moore comes in, and then he's kind of out of there. And then this year, it's like, oh, I'm gonna kind of get involved again, and it just has not shown great results. And I think what this season has shown is that they need to move away from the mean because look, the mean worked, but we talk about it every single year.
I guess
the league adjusts, right? You have to be willing to adjust with the league, and you can prioritize turnover or like turnover reduction on offense and turnover maximization on defense. But the fact of the matter is, there's a regression and progression to the mean in general, right? We saw it from 2022 to 2023, 2024 to 2025. Some of this thing is just some of this stuff is luck. You can drill it. A lot of it is luck as well, right? Like it's just how sometimes things work, and you can't, I guess just have a plan. Everything is going to be, oh, that was awesome. Wow. Tie game with 8 seconds left. You can't just assume like, oh, we're just going to go back to what worked for us before because it worked for us before. I just think that's a flawed way to look at things. And look, credit to Nick for doing that. But like, there's just a lot of questions this year, right? Because one of Nick's superpowers that we talked about before was handling the locker room. The locker room was not handled this year. I think that's safe to say with the amount of leaks that have come out, leaks that are still coming out.
Leaks always come out. They were winning the Super Bowl and leaks were coming out
to an extent, but it's just different this year, man. And then there was the whole thing with AJ on the sideline. There's just like, I don't know. And there's their competitors and everything, but AJ left, right? He didn't talk to anybody. AJ has not talked to anybody in weeks. And now there's reports that AJ was requesting a trade. Now, what that comes down to obviously remains to be seen, if it's true, whatever it might be. But the fact that it comes from, Philly reporters more than anything, I think that says something.
I ain't gonna lie, brother. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm gonna say the name. Joe Santoliquito. We haven't heard anything from him in how long?
Listen, I'll agreed, but I take those reports more seriously than I do the athletic one, the Mike Silver, because Mike Silver has no relation to Philadelphia. Mike Silver is a national guy who's like writing about, oh, this is like AJ Brown being disgruntled this year and asking to get out at times does not sound far off, right? And and now, do I think AJ Brown is going to be traded? I don't think so. That I wouldn't. I don't think that's going to happen. But I wouldn't say that the locker room was in harmony this year by any means. We had the star receiver and the quarterback basically saying that they didn't like the OC from the get-go, and then it continued. It's just these little things that add up.
I guess what my pushback on that would be like, don't you think if AJ requested a trade during the season, we'd know about it? Like it'd have been reported during the season once he did it.
Maybe. I mean, it depends on how it goes, right? What kind of like AJ is also emotional, right? And so they can say like, oh, he requested a trade, and it can be AJ being pissy in the locker room, which is more so what I tend to believe it is. But the beginning of the season was ugly, dude. And I mean, he was making it pretty obvious that like, hey, this is not working. We're not going to be able to just turn it on. And it felt like he wasn't listened to. And so I think a lot of it is just like, he's an emotional guy. He's being emotional in the locker room. I don't think I'm not saying that there's like, oh, so much that an AJ Brown is going to be traded this offseason, because Howie Roseman had his comments. Quell wrote about it in his article. I know Anthony DeBona's kind of talked about it. What Howie Roseman has said in the past about guys and all these different types of things. But, the money that it would take, first off, to trade AJ, it just doesn't make sense. And you have a guy who.
So I'm glad you said that. Actually,
Yeah,
I
go
wanted
ahead.
to talk to you guys about that. I mean, theoretically, it doesn't make sense. But after reading that piece by Jimmy Kempsky, great job, by the way, Jimmy. I still don't think he'll be traded, but it makes the conversation a little bit more interesting when you look at, I mean, the number, if you traded AJ this year, the cap will be split across 2 separate years, but you also will be able, if you traded him prior to June 1st, you'll also be able to know what you're getting back. You make the most out of your content. If you waited post June 1st, I think it's $27 million just to next year. That's it. But you kind of don't know what you would basically, you had to wait, kind of like Packers Cowboys trade for Micah. You just pray that the team is bad and hope you got a good draft pick. But the one thing that stood out is the amount of money that AJ is owed. I believe it's over the next, 4 years until the contract's up now? Well, 3 years, it's 2026 now. 3 years till 2029. It's like $100-something million in between now and then that he'll be owed. And they'll be able to save a lot of money. It might hurt early, but if they did do it, that's money that they could use to sign people. Like I touched on in the article, I didn't say trade AJ, of course, but sign people
The
like
defensive side.
Yeah, on the defensive side of the ball, where they're flaws, not flaws, but there are people that's gonna need their money.
You're gonna there's money you're gonna need to free up for sure, but I don't know, man. You trade AJ and then
You're essentially punting on this year if you trade AJ.
Right. It's okay. Yeah. Devontae Smith is our wide receiver 1. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. I'm okay. Who's wide receiver 2? Right. Who's wide receiver 3? And now all of a sudden
Because Jahan's a free agent too at the end of the year.
Exactly. And so it's like, all right,
Darius Cooper,
we're betting on Darius. And right. And then it's just like, I was thinking about it earlier. I was like, dude, we lost. We're really gonna go from like, we have the bad podcast. I'm forgetting the word. The privilege. Yeah, it's just
sorry.
brutal.
I didn't mean to cut you off, brother. Evan Mobley with the game sealing,
Brutal.
the game tying dunk with the pass coming from Jalen Tyson, brother of wide receiver Jordan Tyson, first round pick, you guys.
That's his brother?
Yeah.
That's fire.
That's nice. But yeah, like we've had the privilege of just having AJ and Devontae every year and being like, all right, who's gonna be wide receiver 3? All right, who's gonna be depth? All of a sudden, these are just like way, way tougher conversations that you have to have. And I don't know. Now you're switching your OC and you're gonna lose star power in the receiver room. I don't know. I don't think that's a recipe for success. And if you really think this is a Super Bowl window that you're in, and I still think you are, the benefit of it is that you still have a lot of your young guys on their rookie contracts. Now obviously Jalen and Jordan, those are 2 big ones that are going to be coming up in terms of contracts. But Quinyon and Coop are still under rookie contracts. You can still take advantage of that. So I don't know.
Quinyon, that 5th-year option is helping Quinyon hella. But Coop actually is probably going to need a contract the same
That's
year.
true, because it's the second.
Yeah, the same year we need Nolan, those guys. So.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's going to be hard decisions to make, but to me, if you're switching, you have so many moving parts this offseason. Your O-line is not necessarily, and James put it here in the chat.
The season is over. You can call it what it is, brother. The O-line was bad.
It was right. I mean, it was awful. And so Jeff Stoutland on Fraud Watch, I mean, it's a fair question. I don't know if I can, just because of all the goodwill that he's built up. It's hard for me to say that, and maybe that's emotional.
What's his name? TJ Pagnetti? Maybe that's where the goodwill was at.
Maybe,
He
man.
was the assistant O-line coach, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just joking, you guys. We all know Jeff Stoutland is the mastermind behind this. But just
I mean,
funny,
I
TJ
think
Pagnetti leaves and they stink.
I mean, it just
I think also with the O-line, a lot of them were hurt too.
they were hurt.
Like,
So, and that's what I
even
was about to say,
Landon
right?
talked about
That's
after the game how he was like, basically, I don't know if I'm gonna get back to like full strength, like being 100% healthy. And that perked up my antennas. I'm like, brother, what?
It's not great from a guy who
Yeah.
already had a ton of knee injuries.
And that's probably why. Honestly.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's the conversation we had when we drafted Landon. Like, look,
oh yeah,
he here for a good time, not a long time.
Exactly.
So
and we said, like, you get a Super Bowl out of it. You get a Super Bowl out of it. You chalk that off as a victory. You know, I think that's fair, but you have to just go after O-line, which I think we all expect in this draft. But you know, the trenches definitely need a refresh on the offensive side. So I think with that many moving parts, you don't necessarily want to move off from AJ Brown. You would like to keep, you know, the core of your stars intact. But again, who knows? Who knows?
I think personally, after listening to everything that they said last week, hell, man, it's been a long day. Yesterday, everything that they said yesterday, specifically Howie Roseman, I think we should enjoy the ride. I think we have, nothing's guaranteed. And like I continue to talk about, like I mentioned in that article, 2029 is the theoretical window based on where the contracts are in the books. But I think this might be, I don't think they trade AJ Brown. AJ Brown is coming back. I think they give him another swing with the new offensive coordinator. Jalen says they're in a good place. I think they can talk him off the ledge for its minimum as one more year. Probably because the cap hit is astronomical, and who really wants to take on that right now? I mean, even with all that I said about it being theoretically true and how much it'd help if you did later on, who wants to take on all that? Because like Howie said in this press conference, we can build a winner now and for the future. That doesn't sound like building a winner now and for the future. I think this, though, might be the last time we see this Philadelphia Eagles core that we've grown to love over the last, 3 to 5 years. This might be the last year we see them as constructed. I think an AJ Brown trade is probably much more likely in the offseason of 2027. I think that they're going to they have 6 picks in the first 4 rounds. I wouldn't be surprised if one of those gets used on the first round pick. I mean, not a first round pick. Clearly they'll use that on that. But one of those to get used on a wide receiver who I'm not saying he'll be in for a heavy role right now, but maybe for the foreseeable future, learn from AJ Brown, kind of similar to what we've seen on the defensive side of the ball, where they drafted Quinyon Mitchell, learn from Darius Slay, and then eventually you take on the reins, things type of time where I do think this offseason will lay out the foundation for the future of what the Eagles will be. But I think we see one more year at minimum of this swing.
I would agree.
Yeah, and I think that goes into their comments about the OC search, where they're like, they feel like they're a win now team, like they're trying to get back to the Super Bowl, right? Like they're not just gonna hire, anybody. Like even if you want to look at Nick when he was asked about like the whole control of the offense thing, and he talked about how he felt like he needs to be the coach of the whole team, and the kind of, I guess, being intertwined with the entire organization versus being held down by one side of the football. And you look at Howie, his comments right before the end of the presser, where he talked about what was the quote? You just said it, Quo. I'm sorry, it's bad podcasting.
Which one?
The one where he said like right at the end of the pod, where he at the end of the press conference,
about basically you can build a winner now and later on, so fans just bear with me.
Yeah, and that's kind of like the second time he said that in like 2-3 years. Where I remember
he said that last year specifically.
Yeah. So I think it's gonna be interesting to see how they balance like the whole win now with kind of the future type of thing.
Give me a second before you go right quick, Parth. You know, I don't want to call it a rebuttal, but what makes things so interesting because you're right. He did repeat the same sentiment that he said last year, and it kind of gives off the thought that well, we're gonna rely on a bunch of young players, maybe this time on the offensive side of the ball next year, like we did on the defensive side of the ball. But then you listen to him talk about how he felt when watching guys like Fred Johnson, who he said played great, but Fred Johnson and Marcus Epps, guys who had to play long snaps throughout as the season went to an end, and he like how the injury bug played a factor on this team. I think that band-aid approach that we continue to see for year after year, the assigning of an Adoree Jackson. And I mean, don't get me wrong, this ain't saying they ain't gonna bring Adoree back because by the season's end, he played really well. So they might. But
No.
basically that band-aid approach. Oh, even if they brought Adoree back, trust me, what I'm about to say, I think
They're going to try to address
it's gonna be
more long
competition in
term.
the room.
Yeah.
It's
No.
going to be a competition, not just that cornerback, across the board, because they've seen what Matt Pryor's snaps look like, and they love Matt Pryor, but they see what Matt Pryor's snaps look
I don't
like.
understand
They
why.
seen what happened when Ben Ransomware went down, and now you got Grant Calcaterra trying to fill these blocks. Like they need depth on this football team, and I think he's going to try to make a big swing at making sure. Like, look, we may not have the best player in the league at every position, but we're going to try to fill these rosters off pretty solidly. So I'm interested to see. I mean, I do think a lot of young players will have to contribute, but I think they're going to make a conservative push to get some real bodies in the building.
Yeah. I think that's a good point. There's going to be competition. I think Adoree good is generous at the end of the season. I think he was serviceable, but I do think your sentiment is right. I think he'll be back, but I think there's going to be competition for him. And I mean, to the point about the Super Bowl window, I think a harsh truth about Jalen as well is like, you don't know what the longevity will be for sure, right? Because we saw this year where running was minimized. Now, obviously, maybe this changes in the future, but when he hasn't run as much, the offense hasn't been the same engine that it is. And, it's on the team to make sure to maximize that, right? And with running, there comes inherent risk with it, right? We saw it with Lamar, and now we'll see what he looks like next year when he can get healthy. But, as you get older, injuries tend to catch up. These things can be tougher to deal with. And so when you have a dual threat quarterback, I think you just have to go all in when they're playing well. And I think Jalen is in the prime of his career right now, and you have to just take advantage of that, because who knows, in 2029, he'll be 30.
Yeah.
Right. 30, 31. So these are just like, you have to be aggressive in this time because tomorrow is not promised in the NFL. So I think Howie has the right approach. Now, I think it's a good transition to the next part of our conversation about the OC.
That's what I was just about to say.
What this offense will look like.
It is actually great transition part. I feel like, wow, everything you just said about Jalen is correct, especially the part about the dual threat quarterback and trying to maximize the risk thereof. I do feel like we've always made the comparison, and people are doing it more so nowadays, trying to make it such a negative thing, especially where
Russell
he's
Wilson.
at in this day in his career. But it's Russell, and the one thing about Russ that always stood out, hell, you can even use Tom Brady, and I mean Tom Brady is like the absolute peak of what this could be. Then there's the Russell, and then there's absolutely bottoming out, which we all hope nothing happened, but where
Absolutely.
Russ went through a stretch where he was this mobile quarterback. He relied on the defense. He had to continue to grow as a passer. He wasn't always what he was. That MVP Russell Wilson, top 3 passer in the league. He wasn't always that guy. He had to grow into that guy. And I feel like Jalen, so bad, wants to start his Russell Wilson career arc 2 path. And we're sitting here like, chill, brother. You're still mobile. We need you to use this part of your game for the offense to be successful. You don't have to get there yet because you're gonna know as you should age gracefully. Don't try to rush the age and let it happen slowly. But in order for him to reach that arc, he needs a play caller he can trust. Somebody that trust him, allows him to rip it a little bit, but somebody that he believes in, that he believes that he's learning from. Jalen Hurts doesn't like offensive coaches that he doesn't feel like he can learn anything from, clearly. And I mean, don't get me wrong, he tried his best to be respectful to Kevin Patullo this season, but it was clear as day from the initial press conference that it's basically him screaming, I can't learn nothing from him. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love Kevin. I respect Kevin, but this role is different. He ain't never did this before. What do you expect me to learn from him, or how you expect me to get better, or him to get better? Which, I mean, in turn also falls back on the head coach in his own way, shape, or form. But everybody deserves the opportunity to grow. I just feel like if you want Jalen to maximize that next step in his arc, you got to get the right guy in the building. Which, who do you guys think that guy should be?
Yeah, I mean, before we get into that, I agree, and I mean, for the last couple off seasons, honestly, I've been saying like, oh, I think Jalen's going to take this next step of, becoming more of a pocket passer over wanting to run with the ball more, and I've
Kevin
wanted that.
Patullo calling plays.
Agreed. But I don't know.
Would you say that he hasn't made steps as a passer, as a pocket passer, over the last 3 to 5 years?
I think he has, but I also don't know how much more he's gonna change, right? Because Russ changed to an extent, but
he was always his. I get your thing.
You know what I mean? Like Russ has always had
the
his
whole argument with Russ was even towards the end. I mean, I think I texted you guys about this a few years ago where Russ got hurt. Geno came in the game in Seattle, and offense just looked like what Pete Carroll and them boys would have wanted an offense to look like. They throwing the ball across the middle of the field and doing stuff that they would never do with Russ. And it kind of like, well, it was one of those you live with it because it's working, but when it stops working, it makes life a lot harder. Things where Russ made lemonade out of lemons.
plays,
What
right?
he was doing, how he operated, a lot of off script. I mean, they tried to do things that attacked outside of the numbers to stop the off script, but when it was time to get some money, it was off script plays, and it was fun for us, but not so much for coaching staffs trying to build game plans, players playing within their scheme. Where it's like, dude, you supposed to throw that ball where you get right there. So I can see this is me, not me saying that some of this stuff that we hear about Jalen that comes out isn't true. I do think that a lot of it has been greatly exaggerated, but I won't say that it isn't true. But again, it all falls back on the head coach and the offensive play caller, where we about to get into the conversations about who could be the next offensive coordinator for this team. And I listened to a video. Shout out to Anthony DeBona for putting it on the timeline. And I tried to put it on the timeline for as many other people as I could. But a video of Mike McDaniel speaking. And he talked about how basically the things that he learned from Kyle Shanahan was the arc of the video. But it started off from them beginning in Washington and how they had the wide zone offense came up with based on everything from Mike Shanahan, but they had never worked with a quarterback like Robert Griffin. And they tried to figure out how to take that skill set and apply it to what they want to do and just find a way to meet in the middle. And they're sitting there watching film, the 15 reps of film of Tim Tebow running stretch over and over and over again, trying to figure out what can we do to make this work for Robert Griffin. And I mean, ultimately they did. Won Rookie of the Year. I mean, of course, they flashed out because of injuries, but they figured out a way to make it work with a quarterback that should never had fit within their parameters of their scheme, and they met him in the middle. That's great coaching right there. Absolutely. That's you building an offense around your quarterback, which is how it's supposed to be.
110%. My only reason in saying that, like, I mean, I still love Jalen. Jalen's my guy. I want to see Jalen grow, but when things go as wrong as they did this year, it falls on everybody, right? It really just falls on everybody. It's a colossal failure at all levels, and that just sucks. But all you can do is figure things out and adjust from there. And I mean, I think we can get into like our OC picks now, but the main thing for me that I'm looking for out of an OC is I just want somebody who's going to challenge Jalen, because these things, I know I saw that comment.
Shout out
These
to Rob,
things,
man. You're not wrong.
it's painful, Rob, but these things that we're talking about for Jalen, wanting him to take the next step and grow as a passer, they only happen if Jalen is challenged by, like you said, Quell, somebody he trusts, right? And I think there is
I
something there.
think to that point, it's a bit of a give and take. Like the framing of him needing to be challenged is very interesting to me. Like I don't know that it's like I don't know that I agree with that, right? Like I think it's like I said, it's a bit of give and take, right? Like if Jalen feels like he can trust this guy as far as his play caller to do the things that's gonna maximize his skill set, then he'll do it. Versus if we saw like with Patullo, he looking at him like, what can this dude do for me? So
I mean, I get it, but like you can't just shut down because you're like, oh well, I don't know if this is gonna work. Like you're still the quarterback. Like
and that's like
it
what
falls
me and
on
Q
your head,
talked about.
right?
Yeah, that's like what me and Q talked about before we got on, where it's like, you can't just fall in line and be a soldier. Like if you feel like there's something that needs to be said, you have to open up and express yourself.
Right. And maybe he did. We don't know what happened behind closed
It
doors.
looks as if he did some, at least from the glimpses we've seen in the Hard Knocks.
And I'm catching up because I had to not watch for a couple weeks, so I was mad. But I just was like, I'm trying.
I haven't watched an episode yet.
Yeah, I don't know if I can handle that last episode.
Brother, that closing scene, the closing scene. I don't know if y'all seen it.
I've seen the
closing. I saw it on Twitter.
That's cinema.
They said it's either gonna turn out as like a recorded like amazing moment or the biggest like wannabe tough guy moment ever. And I was like, oh boy, the pressure is on for next season, man. The pressure is on. But Pierre, I mean, I get what you're saying, but like Jalen is not above blame for everything that happened.
Of course,
right? And I think that's what it comes down to, and that's why I want him to be challenged, because when he's been challenged, he's taken the next step, right? And we need that to continue. He needs to continue taking the next step. And sure, he didn't trust Patullo. I mean, I would have liked to see him, not. I don't know. It just.
Now, what you're saying is correct.
I think he welcomes that though. Like of what we know about Jalen, he wants to be coached.
He wants to be coached. It's half and half, right? Like he has like the I want to be coach of the sun, and all of that is very true, but he's picky about it.
Yeah, you can't say you want to be coach. I guess how I see it is Shavin uses this quote pretty often: "A broken clock is right twice a day." It may not be right all the time, but there's 2 times a day you're gonna get the right time on that clock. And you may not agree with everything that Kevin Patullo is teaching you, but you can't just block out your coach. Like you,
like y'all seen the video? Y'all seen the sideline video where I guess him and KP were just discussing the play or something,
and he
turns around and you can see like the look in his face where he's like, "Man, dog, this dude, what is he talking about?"
Yeah,
but again, it's like y'all said, you can't just shut it out. You can't shut him out.
Exactly. It's just like, and it sucks. Receivers, you probably can get away with that, and it's just like
Kevin
attitude.
Patullo is the leak.
Oh, Kevin Patullo is 110% the leak.
Jalen Hurts is hard to coach.
Yeah,
I told him to run this, and he said, "Why?"
And so, and that's exactly why I said like blame lies in everybody's lap for the way that the season went. But Patullo just soft as baby shit, dude. I mean, the Richard Sherman,
the Ryan Fitzpatrick
thing.
He's
like,
not wrong.
Take some accountability, man.
Take
some accountability, bro.
He's not wrong. He needs to take accountability, but he is not wrong. And I've been saying it all year long. That head coach gave him specific orders, and he's sitting there. And I mean, at least the head coach, great friend he is. Great friend. I'm sorry I had to fire you, buddy, but I'm going to always be your friend for life. We're brothers. But
Nick slimed that man out, bro. Nick slimed him out.
He did, man.
Nick slimed him out.
He put him in a no-win position from the start. And he's sitting here, and that's what, like, he's not wrong for sitting here saying we don't understand the inner workings of the team, because there's a lot of stuff that we don't know that's happening in the background. And he's sitting here like, I'm trying to figure out a way to do my job and make everybody else damn happy. And now I got to listen to y'all call me ass because I'm trying to satisfy this guy, that guy, and that guy. Like, man, I ain't got to deal with this. So he's not wrong. At the same time, brother, we're not going to act like you wasn't calling draw plays on 3rd and 4th and 12, bro. Like, we're not going to act like that's not the case.
But, brother,
you are not off the play.
The man called 4 verts into cover 4.
Dude, the amount of times I've had to say that in arguments in the last couple of weeks is nuts. And it wasn't the first time that they did it all season either. And so that's the worst part. It was doomed from the beginning, man. It was doomed from the beginning. Ray here said his pops is a coach, so you might look at him like, what's this guy doing? Valid, and I think that's a point that we definitely agree with. But like Quell said, Shavin said, a broken clock can be right 2 times a day, right? And so you have to be willing to just take in wisdom from everywhere and just try to move from there. But look, we can leave the past in the past. Let's see what we're thinking now.
Like, nah, we got to touch on this. Shout out to Anthony Perry in the comments. We got to touch on that, brother. They ran, not only did they run 4 verticals, brother, they ran 4 verts, like 3 of the last 4 plays or something like that. And it sounded like the 49ers was in the same deep. They ran quarters for the last like 10 plays of the game. And you telling me, they don't understand the inner workings of the team. Decided to run the absolute worst play possible.
Dog, the crazy thing is that was the play they called after a timeout when everybody was huddled up. Dude, like, the season's on the line. We need the best play.
Oh my God, dude! I saw the 3 timeouts. I was like, okay, if they shit the bed here, at least we can maybe get the ball back. Defense has been playing well. Like, call 3 timeouts, get the ball back, see what you can do. And they wasted the timeout, dude. And then I was like, okay, get in your bag. Let's see what you got. I even saw that close up of them on the sidelines. I know everybody, afterwards on Twitter was like, oh, you could tell. In that moment, I was like, oh, maybe we just got our new version of Philly. and they go out there and ran 4 verts into cover 4, brother.
I don't get it. Like, I was looking in my phone like a play sheet trying to figure out what they could do. And Shavin looked at me like, oh my God, did you just see that? And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm real locked in. I'm trying to figure out. I'm looking at replays from the other plays, trying to figure out what the team could do on this play. Like Kevin Patullo could hear me. Man, I knew my life was on the line right there. Apparently they didn't, but I'm doing whatever I could try to keep this Eagle season alive from my bedroom. And she's like, oh my God, did you see that? And I'm like, what? What are you talking about? And she's like, I'm just going to let the play happen. And I'm like, whatever. So once everything happened and we're all just sitting there looking dumbfounded, I got on the internet and I seen Jalen Hurts' reaction to them calling that play. And she was like, that's what I was talking about. And I'm like, he looked so baffled in that moment. And he looked right at Nick like, you going to let this happen? And Tanner looked right at Nick like Tanner looked like that meme, but a boxing referee. He like, what you about to do about this, coach? He right. Y'all can't call this play right now. Like, all 3 of them knew, brother. They called time out. They've been running the same defense. Y'all seen it. Y'all knew it. Y'all had the picture frame of it right there. And he decided, yeah, I'm going to run the worst play possible at it right there. Right there.
On purpose. And Anthony, like,
and he called that John with so much conviction,
bro.
So much conviction. I was sitting there like, oh my.
That's why I was confident, man. I saw it and I was excited, man. I saw it and I was like, all right, maybe they're cooking.
He called that like, they ain't gonna expect this. We about to get them. We got them.
Man, like, dog, bro looked at the sheet. He looked
This the one right here.
He looked back at the sheet. He looked up and then said, full verse.
Yeah.
And Jalen looked at Nick, and Nick was like, Yeah, let's do it.
Hey, listen, as somebody who only runs
Bruh.
crossers and forverts in Madden, I mean, maybe he was cooking a little bit. All right, maybe you throwing a crosser the 2 plays before that, and then forverts might open up. All right, it's what I would do in Madden. So hey,
Please, I'm begging you. Can we talk about coaches?
He was, yeah.
I was fine. This same hate. Y'all gonna make me write another article tonight. This is that same hate that got this article out last night. This right here is what drove the feud. Like, I can't believe they did this.
Yeah, it's pretty unfathomable. And Anthony, I mean, to your comment about Jalen having multiple OCs, and he's obviously elevated 2 of them, and 2 of them have not worked out. Agreed. And I mean, none of us were excited
2 that
about.
Didn't work out. 8 never called plays in their life. Please stop it.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Like, they know
definitely
the problem, and they need to stop it. And I mean, I get it. Like Nick Sirianni said in his presser, his job, just like it is to develop players, is to develop coaches. These coaches on this coaching staff got aspirations to be coaches, like head coaches.
This ain't the time for that, brother.
That's why y'all need to hire coaches.
And I don't know how much I trust his coaching development, brother. My God, like maybe you're a good leader in a locker room, but I don't trust you as a
coaching development. I trust his coaching development. I just wouldn't trust his play calling.
What coaches really developed well underneath him? I don't think I've seen anything special out of the receiver room. Running back room, okay, but I think
and we're not putting that on Nick, even though Nick is a former wide receiver.
I mean, but like,
Nick.
look,
Aaron Moorhead been
your
here
point
since
is, but your point is
48 BC.
But he's supposed to be developing the coaching staff, right? He's an offensive-minded coach, and out of the offensive coaches, who have you seen that has really grown? Passing coordinator was Patullo. He's been with Sirianni the entire time. He was the passing coordinator in 2023 as well. I have not seen any growth. If anything, he's I don't know if you can say regressed, because the passing game was asked then too.
He's regressed.
He's regressed, and then Shane Steichen has gone and done his own thing there. Kellen Moore was an outside guy who was brought in. I don't know. I don't know if I trust Sirianni, the coach.
That right there is why he will continue to never get the credit. While Kellen Moore was an outside coach that was brought in, and I feel like the same situation would happen with whoever we hire this year. I feel like Howie Roseman said in the press conference, the things that Nick Sirianni are good at, those are the things that head coaches are supposed to be good at. I'm sorry you can't call plays, but this is the missing link that you're missing right there. This really good play caller,
and that's totally fine, but that's not development.
But I feel like why I say it's development is because while you would think that it's stuff that Nick should learn from them in terms of them as play callers, there are a lot of things that they learned from Nick that weren't there. If you think Kellen Moore is the same coach now that he was prior to when he got to Philadelphia, that's a different man. I've watched Kellen Moore offenses. That's a different man. That man learned ball control. That man learned clock management. He didn't know nothing about none of that before he got to Philadelphia.
I don't know. Are we really complimenting Nick Sirianni's clock management after the way that last game ended? And also, let me ask you one question, Quell. Let me ask you one question, brother. Let me ask you one question, brother. Did you take the bus today?
Who drove over here? You know what? A fire in your gut.
Do you feel it?
You feel it? You hungry? Listen, I think Sirianni's a good guy. Him as a developer coach is maybe there's something, but we've also seen that this man is so apeshit about his own philosophy that he goes so far into the extreme that like they forget how to play football. So
it's so hilarious because I mean that's another conversation that Shavin and I were having. Like I was telling Pierre this last pod, like she been on Nick Sirianni ass since the moment the season ended. She been on his ass. She done did all types. She might as well have wrote an article herself with all the research she been doing about different types of stuff going on out here in coaches. But the one thing that stood out to me, a conversation we were having, is Nick Sirianni's trying so hard to be Bill Walsh, where he needs to be Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick just wins. That is, I mean, don't get me wrong. You got guys like Matt Patricia, who we hate here.
You saw the picture of him in shorts.
He brings me a national championship.
You saw the picture of him in shorts.
Yeah, I wish I could unsee it.
You had your national championships was just one with the worst guys ever. So I mean, just in my championship was one with Aaron Hernandez, and I think our team had better vibes
Oh
than your coaching
my
staff.
gosh.
But go on.
My gracious goodness. Anyway, whatever this guy's talking about. Anyway. Gosh, you done made me forget my damn train of thought. You just mentioned just BS.
All right, we got to get the coaches. We got to get coordinators. We got to get coordinators.
At an hour in, oh boy,
yeah.
We can make this.
All right, so confirmed interest. I'm gonna go through the list of names here. Mike McDaniel.
Wait, how are we gonna do this? Are we just gonna go with that, and then because I mean, are we gonna go with the 2, 3, or are you just gonna?
So we're gonna go with confirmed interest, and then you give. The goal is to get out 2 names that we're interested in, but start with the name you're most interested in, just in case we are at a time frame.
Okay.
Yeah. So confirmed interest: Mike McDaniel, Brian Daboll, Zach Robinson, Charlie Weiss Jr. I think we can start with Mike McDaniel, former Dolphins head coach, Shanahan guy. His offenses are known to use a lot of motion. I feel like he'd be probably the most like stark shift in terms of philosophy, in terms of like what we see from a schematic standpoint.
You said who? Zach Robinson?
Not Mike McDaniel.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, like I said, former Dolphins OC, Shanahan offense, a lot of run heavy. Yeah, what you guys think?
This is my number 1 coach that I would like here, and this is kind of what I meant by.
Look at him. He done talked to all his Dolphins friends. He was like, "What do y'all think? Tell me, should we?"
No, dude, my uncles are just like, get him the hell out of here. Like, we don't want any piece of him. But I've been saying for years, like, I just don't think he's had a good quarterback in Miami. And, my uncle also fought with me about Tua. So, there's always that one that I won. But, I chose McDaniel as my favorite, OC candidate, just because I think he would challenge Jalen in the ways that we really want him to. I think he would kind of challenge him to work on that timing a little bit more, see the middle of the field a little bit more, and just stretch out the field in different directions. It's not just, horizontally, which you saw a lot with, Waddle and Tyreek going around the back and getting, jet sweeps and all those different types of things.
I think a lot of that with Waddle and Tyreek, it was just because of the personnel. Right,
exactly, and that's
like even I had the thought of him being a bit too gimmicky at times, but I think it was the fault of the personnel.
I think a lot of it has to do with the people he had out there, but what he was known for, the Eagles tried to hire him a couple years ago when he was the run game coordinator in San Francisco, and that's his bread and butter, and that's his specialty. And I think for an Eagles team that has had an identity of running the goddamn rock for like 10 years, dude, and then this year forgetting how to run the ball, I think having a guy who's a savant like that come in and work in tandem with Jeff Stoutland, I think that gets me excited, and that gives you something you can hang your hat on again, and then you can just add on to there. And we've seen McDaniel do that in the past. I mean, shit, when we're talking about how boring the Eagles offense has been for years, most of the time I'm thinking about how the Dolphins do things and just get guys open. And we were talking about motion. They had been doing that for years, and using motions for a reason, not just motioning to motion. I think he just brings a lot of that, and I think he would challenge Jalen to take that next step that he needs to. And I think that's why, I would really want him to end up here. So, and he's open to it. He's open to a good OC position.
That is the most important thing. Coach. I'm concerned about the Lions kid. I think the Lions might offer.
I know. I was thinking that.
Well, hopefully Jeff opened a checkbook. But before I address what you guys just said, to comment.
Oh, also, sorry. He needs to open the checkbook twice, because we also need to make sure we just promote Christian Parker to assistant head coach.
Yeah.
Do what you need to.
Yeah. See, we
also before you go, I'd pay good money to hear a Mike McDaniel and Jeff Stoutland conversation. Like, I would pay a good top dollar to hear that first conversation, brother. Like, if you listen to Mike McDaniel and how he talks, like he kind of has like that.
He's some hip hop.
Yeah, he's like a hipster kind of kid, but like I think overall, like you listen to the dude talk, he knows football, bro. Like you listen to him talk about like structuring an offense around the skill set of his players. How, like you talked about earlier, Q, they had to kind of construct the playbook for RG3 kind of from scratch. Just a lot. It's really interesting hearing him speak.
Not even just. I really encourage y'all. Hopefully you all of you guys follow me on social media, but if you don't, I'm gonna make a post and we're going to retweet it or quote it from the Philly Blitz.
Just make it on the TPB account.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We're gonna quote it from the account, or we could post it itself from the account since he's technically a candidate. But I really want all of you guys to see the video that we're talking about out loud because it's really informative, not just as a football fan, but what the Eagles could potentially get in their building. Now, first and foremost, to answer what you got saying here, Ray, from my knowledge on the circumstance, I don't believe there's any bad blood. I just believe that they don't see football the same way, which I don't think matters if you're an offensive coordinator and a defensive coordinator compared to head coach and defensive coordinator. Where from all my research on it, McDaniels was excited to bring in Vic. He was actually one of the few, if not the only, Shanahan guy that had the opportunity to bring Vic in. And I mean, Pierre has outlined for weeks now how Shanahan is Fangio is giving these Shanahan coordinators fits forever, for lack of a better term. So for McDaniels to bring him in, he spoke very highly of Vic. Now, of course, we know how the season played out, Vic and his disagreements with the personnel and all that stuff. But based on him leaving, it sounds like
it was
they
more
just
player.
didn't. No, not necessarily just player. I mean, the players that was like the straw that broke the camel's back. They just didn't agree with how football. Basically, I would assume how he wanted Vic to play defensively. Vic wanted to go about it his own way, and Mike McDaniel wanted defense to be played a specific way here, which you can see by the structural change of the coordinator that they hired after Vic and the stark differences between where they went from what they did. So, I mean, I don't want to necessarily say that they don't like each other. They just thought it was best for them to part ways, and especially with the opening in Philadelphia where, Vic's from this area. He wanted to be home near his wife and all that stuff. It was a perfect opportunity for Vic to get home. So, I mean, I can continue to look into it, but based on my knowledge, I don't think that they hate each other.
And then on Vic, I also think, like you talked about Parth, he comes from the Cal Shanahan.
Are you talking about Mike?
Offense.
Not Vic.
Yeah, Mike. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm Mike McDaniel. I'm sorry.
Mike Vic.
Comes from the see, bro, the Mike, the Vic.
I know. I saw that too.
Yeah,
I was hella confused.
Yeah.
Oh, and sorry,
No,
just before you go, Anthony, nothing about a scheduled visit yet for Mike. Honestly, I haven't heard about any scheduled visits.
I think he was in Tennessee today.
Yeah, but have you guys heard about any scheduled visits for Philadelphia?
Zach Robinson.
Zach Robinson. Yeah,
he has a scheduled visit. I thought they just got basically from everything I've seen. I don't think anybody's coming in the building. Like I don't even think Charlie Weiss Jr.
Okay, yeah. So
they have an interview set up, but I don't think it's in the
Weiss. There's mutual interest. There's mutual interest. Is just kind of what the phrasing has been like.
I saw the Weiss interview is supposed to be maybe early next week. But yeah, just on Mike McDaniel. He comes from the Cal Shanahan offense, the West Coast, have his own run usage. I think it'll be interesting also because I don't think he's worked with a quarterback who's as mobile as Jalen. And, like I said, he talks a lot about how he structures his. What?
I just sat here for 10 minutes and talked to y'all about how he had the
RG3
offense for Robert Griffin III.
Oh, yeah.
He has never worked with this.
Brother, it's been like a decade.
That's so long.
It's been over a decade.
Mean? You know how long ago it was that Vic had Navarro Bowman and Patrick Willis, and then he seen Jahad Campbell and Vic and Zach Bond was like, oh.
The Jahad Campbell who didn't play all year.
I'll say this: this version, this current iteration of Mike
just
McDaniel
played out of his mind.
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
I'll say this current iteration of Mike McDaniel, like the current gen.
Yeah, no, I understood what you were saying. I didn't have to be all technical on you. I understood what you were saying.
He hasn't worked with a quarterback as mobile as Jalen, so I think it'll be interesting to see kind of the evolution of his system. with Jalen.
I mean,
if
it's
they
something
do
we've
hire him.
talked about. It's something we've talked about many times, and the Eagles have had an interest in the Shanahan offense for a long time. They've just been
That was the
kind of
whole thought process with bringing in Rich Gangarello in 2020.
right. They've kind of had this infatuation with it from afar, and
They like anything that work.
it gives me shades of how they felt about the Fangio defense,
Fangio,
right?
yep.
Where it was just like,
And
oh,
the Patriots,
we really
anything.
like it. Right. Yeah, no, I mean, Lurie was a Pats fan, so I mean, there's that. But
Didn't he try to buy the Pats before he
did.
bought the Eagles?
He did.
Imagine
but,
where we would be. Imagine where we'd be right now if Jeff Lurie didn't buy the Eagles.
We'd have
dude,
Robert Kraft.
no,
Would this even be a thing?
probably not, dude. I doubt there would be
Quarterback be Davis Webb, man. We'd be sitting here. And
yeah, there just wouldn't be the type of like enthusiasm because he's actually done such a good job of building the team up as well. Maybe enthusiasm is unfair, but the global following that the Eagles kind of have now, it wouldn't be the same. You know, people in Philly like the Eagles. Some people around the US like the Eagles, you know, randomly, but they've just become such a huge brand under Lurie. But
we getting off topic.
right.
Next
I
name.
know.
So wait. The one thing that stands out to me about McDaniel is kind of like you mentioned.
Oh, McDonald.
No, that's Seattle's guy. He had the farm. This guy just has the fast. But the thing about Mike McDaniel is, and he kind of outlined it in that same video I talked about how he learned from Shanahan is. We talk about the Eagles and the lack of motion and stuff. And even when they utilize motion, we sat here and was like, did your motion have a purpose? Are you doing this to set something up? He talked about how, like, literally every single motion has a purpose. And when they're aligned in certain formations, you can't motion a certain player because you want the tight end to have to line up off the ball, because when this defense sees a tight end lined up off the ball, they respond like this because they don't want to get beat to the outside, which opens up this for cutback lane. Like, it was a whole nuance into everything, a whole nuance where it's something that was completely missing. Like, we sitting here, we talk about the elementary stuff that we were doing on offense this year, and it's like this would be like a complete overhaul to what we've done offensively for the last 3 or 4 years, man.
It's going from 7th grade math to freaking
calculus.
Calculus, college level statistics.
I'm begging for it, man. I want to see this Eagles team take the next step of evolution, and I really think like this would be the next step. And we've talked about what Jalen and these weapons would look like in a Shanahan style offense. We always talk about it like, oh, you know, they do this with like the type of play calling that we have. Imagine if you get some good play calling behind that, dude, with some good plays. You know, it's so frustrating to watch what we watch, where you just never have receivers open, and then go watch other teams where, oh wow, you can throw balls to receivers who don't have a corner all the way in their face. Like, even going back to 2022, it's not like guys were super, super open all the time. Like, so many of those catches was just AJ Brown being superhuman. And now this year, when he wasn't able to be superhuman all the time, it's like, oh wow, we cannot get anything going in the second half. But you know, I digress. So we don't need to go down that path again. So anything else on McDaniel, or should we move to Charlie Weiss Jr. next?
I think we can save Charlie for last. Save the best for last. Brian Daboll. When I was doing my research into him, it seemed a lot like he doesn't have an exact like scheme. I mean, I guess you could say he comes from.
I don't want to say he's a scheme. He has a scheme. I mean, don't get me wrong. He has go-to plays where if the going get tough, the tough gets going. We're gonna go to this. But he's one of those guys. Remember when I talked about how sometimes you don't necessarily need a schemer. You need somebody that can come in, sequence plays, somebody that can basically help growth of the player. That's exactly what he need. And I mean,
that's how I have it. That's how I have it in my notes. Like, his offense is sort of take the form of like the players or personnel that he has at his disposal.
And he says he does such a phenomenal job. Like, one of my favorite, I mention this all the time during draft season when I talk about different quarterbacks and landing spots and particular how they can go about growing him. But one of my favorite we talk all the time, Pierre, about the lack of quarterback development in the league.
Mhm.
One of my favorite processes in terms of quarterback development that I've seen in recent years is what Brian Dable was able to do for Josh Allen. And I mean, we all know what Josh Allen looked like for the first couple of years of his career. We almost wasn't sure if he was going to be able. The Josh Allen we see now, if I'd have told you that was a thing a decade ago, buddy. But Brian Dable came in and he said, look, I'm going to neuter you of everything that you're not good at. We're not going to throw the ball in the middle of the field because you can't do it. We're going to throw it short. We're going to throw it far. We're going to sequence plays together to open up all of the little things for you. And we'll go from there. And it absolutely helped turn him into a monster. So I'm really encouraged by the little things. And I mean, when you talk about what Dabo has mean to Hurts has spoken specifically about how Brian Dable was one of the first guys to actually teach him basically how to play the quarterback position at the next level. And I mean, it doesn't surprise me when you look at, like you mentioned, Pierre, some of the work and the time that Dable spent under the Patriots and the Bill Belichick system and all that stuff. Some of the stuff that Lurie and Roseman, they adore. And then you talk about the time he spent with Nick Saban, with Jalen Hurts. And I see you down here, Anthony. No, he did not bench Jalen Hurts. You can't bench a quarterback when you're the offensive coordinator. That's
all
the
right.
head coach's job.
Yeah. He did bench Jalen Hurts.
The head coach benched Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
And Jalen Hurts, adores that man. Nick Saban, I love you. This is my dog.
All right. I think Nick Saban's done a little bit more winning in his career than Brian Dabo, for one. And Jalen Hurts loves himself a winner. Listen,
Brian Dabo and showed him the ropes as how to play the quarterback.
I get it.
Not only that, he also has a connection to
his
Devontae.
Family.
He coached Saquon in New York, so like there's a ton. Like you talk about
I get it, but his greatest achievement is what happened with Josh Allen. And Shio Kapadia said this on the Philly special. Josh Allen won the MVP after Brian Dabo left. And then Brian Dabo goes.
How did he get to that level?
Listen. Okay, Josh Allen also is a 0.0001% like guy that happened, and that also
like Jalen Hurts.
I think it also takes a lot from Josh Allen. I don't know. Jalen Hurts actually had a better track record coming from college. If you would ask me who I thought would have succeeded in between Jalen Hurts and Josh Allen, I would have told you Jalen Hurts. I mean some people also just prefer the big cannon arm guy every year that goes up in drafts because they want to get a guy like that. And then some people prefer guys who won and done things at different schools in college. I respect that about Jalen Hurts. Regardless, the point is, then he goes to the Giants. He's there for 4 years. He never got nearly as much out of.
Are you kidding me?
As Shane Steichen did.
He literally won Coach of the Year with Daniel Jones. Stop.
And Daniel Jones looked better on the Colts.
I'm playing with me, dog.
Are we really sitting here kicking the table for fucking
because
Brian
you
Dabo?
are sitting here spitting bull trash.
We are so far lost if we're really just banging on the table for Brian Dabo.
I'm banging on the table.
Dude, we were shitting on him every year when he's on the Giants. Like, oh my god, Brian Dabo.
The roster was garbage.
Okay, so he just gets. I don't know. I don't buy that. Oh, he's gonna come in.
He put his life on the line for Jackson Dart.
I think Brian Dabo is going to be an extension of everything we've seen for the last couple of years. It's just going to be the same thing because it's just going to be comfortable. It's going to be comfortable. He knows Nick. He knows Jalen. He knows all these guys. You can come in and they can just keep the status quo going. I don't know. I'm not bought in on Brian Dabo. If your claim to fame is Josh Allen, who is just like.
What reason do you truly have make it really work out? The hire though,
huh?
What reason do you truly have of not liking the hire?
I don't trust everything that just went off in.
If your whole thing is penalizing a coach because he just was a bad a coordinator because he's a bad coach, you never have good coordinators. The Patriots just hired back Josh McDaniels because he sucked at being a coach, but he had Drake May playing MVP ball. What are we doing?
He couldn't save their offense either time. It's not like he was just
because
a CEO
it's a lot
out there.
harder to be a head coach. It's even worse.
I don't know. If you're billed as an offensive-minded head coach who comes in as a quarterback whisperer and your quarterback And also,
It's
Brian
Daniel
Dabble won.
Jones.
He won Coach of the Year. Was that Daniel Jones' first year?
No, I don't think so.
think
Maybe
was-
second. After that, all he did was regress. All he did was regress, and then he had the best season of his career with Shane Steichen. So I'm sorry if like that's like the argument.
Yes,
It's
in
like
the first year of his career, of his tenure with Shane Steichen, just like he had the best year with his first year under under Brian Dabble.
after
So
having
if he comes back
after
next
having
year
3
and
or
it's
4
trash,
years, and then you're written off by the league because of the team that you were on, coached by Brian Dabble, then you go and have a complete career resurgence. I'm sorry, I'm not going to be buying all the
if
Dabble
your whole
stuff.
thing is,
I think that shows that Dabble stock should not be very high right now. If anything,
I don't specifically agree with that. There are a lot of coaches that did bad as head coaches that went on to have great coordinator years. Vic Fangio sucked as a head coach. We adore him.
Vic Fangio also went and dominated at other places as a play caller before he came here. I'm not sure I'm willing to.
What are
take
we
the
sitting
chance.
here saying?
I'm not willing.
We're talking about
I'm
Brian
not,
Dabble, who dominated at other places.
I don't think you have a year or two to let him figure things out. Vic Fangio left from being a head coach, and then he went to. Did he go to the Bears after the Broncos? No.
Nah, I think he was at the Bears and then went to the Broncos, and then he went to Miami.
Yeah, I just don't have time for somebody to come in and figure it out, and I'm definitely not going to take that chance on Brian Dabble, who I would not. We just said, oh, he doesn't have a scheme. He goes and builds it to his players and stuff. I'd like a guy who comes in with some kind of.
We just sat here with a year ago and had the same conversation about Kellen Moore not having a scheme and building towards the players.
No, but Kellen Moore did have something of a scheme that he was able to build on top of.
What scheme? I'm begging you. Pierre wrote a whole article about Kellen Moore not having a scheme. Please tell me the scheme.
The scheme of not having a scheme was just like we just built on what Nick Sirianni had. I don't want that. I want something different. It was like, oh, we're gonna have. They even said it, Quell. It was we're gonna have Nick Sirianni's scheme, and then Kellen Moore can call it and add things to it. It was the same base playbook. It hasn't changed. I think that needs to change.
The same base playbook because what their whole thing is pushing right now is you're gonna get full autonomy like Kellen had. Like
I don't know. I think Kellen had autonomy in the playoffs. I don't think Kellen had autonomy all year, and that's why it seemed like there was different play callers. Like the whole year we're like Kellen Moore sucks, and in the playoffs we're like, oh, Kellen Moore is really him because the playbook, the team looked entirely different. So maybe Kellen Moore had full autonomy in the playoffs. I find it tough to believe that Kellen Moore had full autonomy the entire year, and I'm not sure I'm ready to take that chance on Brian Dabble.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, James.
Because I think Mike McDaniel did more with less with Tua.
Oh my
gosh. Tua has brain damage. Tua has brain damage, and he is out there.
You're talking about Tua has brain damage. At least Tua has a brain. Josh Allen ain't got a brain, brother. He just plays quarterback.
Tua has more of a brain than Josh Allen. Are you on crack? Are you smoking crack?
Do you see Josh Allen took a 21-yard sack against this team, bro?
Have you seen,
all he had to do was throw the ball away.
Tua does that regularly with half the athleticism. Tua's like, oh, I'm gonna escape out the back of the pocket, and then he takes a big sack too. Except then he'll get dropped, hit his head, drop the ball, and be concussed. What do you want? Oh my God, we're going for Brian Dabble. James, I think Mike McDaniel has more of a track record and comes with more of an offensive scheme. He comes from a tree offensively that I trust. I just think there's more that I trust about Mike McDaniel than I do about Brian Dabble.
I respect that reasoning. Everything you were saying prior to that was BS.
I don't think so. I think Brian Dabble is just living his career now off of, oh, look at what I did with Josh Allen. But Josh Allen also deserves the credit for what happened. I don't think it was all just like, oh, Dabble came in and whispered. I think Joe Brady and Ken Dorsey coming in and also did a ton and elevated him to another level.
8 games?
Huh?
You mean the same Ken Dorsey got fired after 8 games?
I mean, fine, but Joe Brady has been there for a minute. So I mean, I don't think it's just like, oh, Brian Dabble is the mastermind behind Josh Allen. I think that's a little bit unfair to Josh Allen, honestly. I just think like, oh, we've made it. Brian Dabble got a whole head coaching job off of, oh, he did this for Josh Allen. It didn't work out there, and now we're gonna be like, oh, but he'll figure it out here.
Under Brian Dabble, the moment Jackson Dart looked like a starting NFL quarterback under Brian Dabble, the moment Brian Dabble got fired, people sitting here saying, should they trade Jackson Dart to go draft Fernando Mendoza? Is this guy really the guy? Like, come on, man. He has a track record of
What if he was
influencing and
never
making
the
these
guy?
quarterbacks better.
What if he was never the guy and it was just the beginning of the season and he just caught lightning in a bottle?
So, about Charlie Weiss Jr.
Wait, we got one more. We got one more before we get to Charlie.
Don't bring me any Brian Dabble. I don't want any piece of it. Don't bring me anything.
Former Falcons offensive coordinator Zach Robinson, Sean McVay disciple, heavy zone offense, a lot of pistol, heavy shotgun usage. They were second to last in the league in play action usage. He did a good job of getting Drake London and Kyle Pitts to football. Both had careers with him as the coordinator, but I do think he kind of suffered from a lot of what Kevin Patullo suffered from in terms of like not knowing how to sequence stuff together.
No, he was like, he is better than Patullo, though. Like,
you think so?
Yeah. Like, at
Yeah,
least
I
he can
think
give
he
his best
became
players the ball.
yeah. But he was also like a victim of the whole calling plays epidemic, as I like to put it. And then the QB position in Atlanta, that didn't do him any favors. Michael Penix
That's
was
the
not
one
good
thing
at
that
all.
was for me. I ain't even gonna sit here and say Michael Penix wasn't good. I mean, he had his
Just
weeks. Michael
inconsistent,
Penix
more
was really good
inconsistent.
at home, and on
Yeah.
the road he was really bad. I don't know what it was about it, but he was really good at home.
That
But
turf must feel good on his knees or what's left of him.
oh my gosh. Anyway,
I can't every time Michael Penix is brought up, I cannot get the image
It's
of
the
him
picture of him in the
with
wheelchair.
both of his legs
It's the
wrapped
picture
up.
of him in a wheelchair. It's damning for you as a quarterback if the picture everyone thinks of you is of you in a wheelchair with both legs up, bro. It is the most damning. And then you watch it. Like, I saw this video of like, oh, Michael Penix pocket work because they had like the camera from above or whatever. He cannot move, bro. Like he is like just like on two sticks, like just hobbling around. I feel bad because he can sling it, but it also just looks weird because he's a left-handed. He's left-handed, but oh man, it's painful to watch him move, man. I'm like, all right, relax. Maybe just throw it from where you're standing. You don't need to move around too much.
Chill on my dog, man. Anyway, I never thought he was a really good fit for what Zach Robinson wanted to do schematically. I mean, he spent all his time under Kalen DeBoer and that air raid offense that they like to run out there, and you expected him to learn an under center timing based offense. It was you putting a lot dip on your chip there, son. But I feel like even with all that being said, Zach Robinson, he did himself no favors with play call and predictability. Like just running every time you were in pistol, we just knew you were running the ball, brother. Like, oh my goodness, do something different. But like you say, he did a really good job of getting Drake. He made the most. I think Kyle Pitts was like the second best tight end in football this year, man. Like, what the hell is going on? We've been waiting for this. But Kyle Pitts, you got Drake London. Oh, whatever, man. You got Drake London, who before he got hurt, they found he found ways of getting his guys the ball. So if you want to make AJ Brown happy, hire Zach Robinson. That might be how you make AJ Brown happy because he's gonna eat. Now the problem is, I think he's not completely Patullo, but he's Patullo-esque because you're talking about a guy that's a first-year play caller last year, a guy that's still learning. I think he has a very bright future ahead of him, very bright future. I said this on Twitter earlier. I really wish he would have took that Oklahoma State job. I mean, that's your alma mater, dude. What the hell are we doing here? But he has a bright future ahead of him, probably at the NFL level. You just need more reps. And that bright future and that sunshine that you got won't be in Philadelphia. It's sunny in Philadelphia, but not with that sun. You got to go somewhere else and figure it out because it's just not enough time. We talk about a win now window and you trying to learn, brother.
This ain't that, bro. This ain't that.
But yeah, I would agree. I just can't bring in like a first-year play caller. Can't bring in somebody who's just. I want somebody with a recent
established
level of success.
Somebody who's established.
Like I want you to be established and have recent success as well. And that,
established and recent success.
Boy, have I got the guy for you.
I'm telling you. I am telling you, pal.
Charlie Weiss Jr.
Are you ready to pound the table, Pierre?
I am ready. Charlie Weiss Jr. Brother, I've the little bit of research that I've done into him, which I know you're a religious college football watcher, you two parts. I'm pretty sure you guys will be able to tell me more about him than what the little bit of research I've done. But boy, what I've seen, I love so far, right? I think they said he has a photogenic or photo photographic memory.
A lot of people gave Eric hell for saying that because they're talking about there's no such thing as that. Like,
hello, have you ever seen Sean McVay talk about a football game?
Exactly, and that's kind of what it's like when you listen to him talk about a game. It's this one sequence where you can listen to him talk about what all 11 players on defense did. Mm-hmm. He'll tell you all of them. I'm like, oh, this guy might be different.
He feels exactly like what a Jeffrey Lurie hire would be, like the new whiz kid, like guy that's well like the NFL circles. He's young. Like you said, he's coming off of Ole Miss's best season in school history. Like he feels exactly like what Jeff Lurie would want in a potential.
Not only that, let's get down to the nitty gritty, brother. Son of coaching legend. I like to call him a coaching legend, of course. Charlie Weiss Jr. spent time at Kansas, spent time in Kansas City. What makes that notable? Who else spent time in Kansas City?
Nick Sirianni.
So he spent time with his father at Kansas City.
Oh, you're talking about Charlie Weiss Sr.
Yeah.
You said
Charlie Weiss. Now, Charlie Weiss Sr. also spent time with the Patriots and all that stuff. So this we talk about with Lurie and with Howie, they really love. Now, back to the son. Guy, he was the senior he was an offensive assistant at Alabama from 2015, 2016 when Jalen Hurts was there. 2 seasons at South Florida. Prior to that, he spent 2 seasons again under Lane Kiffin as the quarterback coach and offensive coordinator at FAU. Currently spent the last 4 years at Ole Miss in those same roles, offensive coordinator, quarterback coach. Now, the one thing I'm surprised you didn't mention Pierre, because I know my dog Pierre, he's not really a controversial guy, but he loves controversy and controversial people. And Pierre, if you guys don't know this,
controversy sells, brother.
If you guys don't know anything, Pierre loves himself some Lane Kiffin. And this is basically Lane Kiffin's right-hand man.
Please just give me the ability to say fuck Lane Kiffin. Oh, this would be so beautiful. I want to see him just scrambling. He's such a piece of shit, dude. Everything he's doing in the transfer portal right now, he's actually just a garbage person. Oh, I love Ole Miss and all this type of shit. And then trying to get him out at the last second after the contracts. Actually just a garbage person. If we're able to take his OC, oh my God, that would be beautiful. Beautiful. And then he can just go do some more fucking hot yoga, dude.
I'm sure
somebody got to be the bad guy. Somebody got to be the bad. Somebody got to be the bad guy. Somebody got to make it fun, man.
You know, keep enjoying somebody's got to be the bad guy. He is a bad guy for reasons other than just football. He's an odd guy. So
he must not know. Hey, Chico. We like bad guys over here.
Buddy, he's a bad guy because he can't keep it in his pants. So I don't know if you like that kind of bad guy.
Me personally, I don't. I don't.
I thought he was about to crash out. The glove don't fit.
chill.
The glove fits. I promise you. You. Lane Kiffin is #not good.
Let's take it back to football. Let's take it back to football, guys.
Look up Lane Kiffin Ole Miss.
All right, chill.
Take it back to football.
Right. But Charlie Weiss, I mean, like you mentioned, young boy offensive man. He's done marvelous work with both Jackson Dart and, of course, Trinidad Chambers this year. But just the creativity that he's able to produce on the Ole Miss side of the ball. And I mean, again, like I mentioned, you talk about someone that was supposed to be a prodigy at the next level. Pierre, you and I were having a conversation about what was supposed to be in Lane Kiffin the other day. And I mean, for us to get his clean prodigy. Emphasis on clean.
Oh,
no scandals. No scandals.
He's not a freak like his shitty boss.
Hey, man, chill.
Somebody has to be in the lab when he's going and doing hot yoga and hanging out with his fake dog, dude. What a horrible personality.
Charlie's like magnificent football, man. Does the best to get the most out of his players. He always, as the great Joe Klett puts it, never gets sick of the profit. If it's working, he'll continue to do it. He gonna keep doing it. And the best thing about it is when you typically think about an Ole Miss offense, a Lane Kiffin offense, you think about them wanting to throw the ball across the yard. The commitment he had to the run game, next to none. Probably the best running season Ole Miss has ever had in franchise history, led by our guy Lacey. I'd be excited to get him in Philadelphia. Me personally,
Extremely.
just people have talked about the back door being open, as the kids like to say, for Nick Sirianni. If they make that hire, it might be.
It would be.
It might be.
It would be.
I mean, maybe. I mean, it's always easier said than done, because then the other side of it is, okay, Charlie Weiss Jr. comes in here. If it all works out the way that we want, they win another Super Bowl. Now you have a 2-time winning Super Bowl head coach.
Yeah, and I mean,
and then it's like,
are you never going to be able to fire Nick? So you might as well get over this. And Howie Roseman just sat here and told you he was okay with having a one and done coordinator. So they're okay living in this world that we're.
Oh no, that's exactly what I'm saying. Like I think the more likely outcome would be if he balls out, he goes and gets another opportunity somewhere else.
But do you think if they hire him like this offseason, he's the OC, they're going to win a Super Bowl next year? You think somebody would hire him to be their head coach immediately like that?
Yes.
Yeah. You win a Super Bowl as an OC, and I mean, you have a pretty damn good chance. You can lose a Super Bowl as a DC and still get a head coaching job. So at the end of the day, and especially a name like Charlie Weiss Jr. Like, I mean, it's a hot name within the sport background. Yeah, exactly. You have NFL bloodlines. You're gonna get.
It sounds like the league has been trying to get their hands on him for a while.
Yeah, he's really well liked across league circles from everything that I've read.
No, exactly.
Now, so to answer your question, Anthony, the reason I'm willing to take this chance is kind of like we talked about with a few moments ago with Parth and Pierre, where this might be a young guy, but this isn't maybe at the NFL level unproven. But the problem with Patullo, the problem with Brian Johnson is those guys had never called plays before. And the Eagles had
Dan Mullen.
You say who?
Brian Johnson worked under Dan Mullen when he was the OC, and Dan Mullen calls his own plays.
Right. So they had never been a spot. Wow, Lane. Don't get me wrong. Lane loves to call plays. This young man has called plays multitude of times, and he's
calling. Well, he was calling them up until Ole Miss lost in the playoffs.
Yeah, I'm about to say he's in a position to be the offensive coordinator, the play caller there. Don't get me wrong. Lane had his hand in the proverbial offensive cookie jar, but he has the background that checks out. He has had the chance to get the experience that Brian Johnson didn't have. And the Eagles have shown a willingness to want new ideas from the college level. I mean, hell, they hired Scott Loeffler as their quarterback coach last year. So they've clearly looked into the college level and trying to get. And I mean, again, it probably goes into the whole conversation you and I have about quarterback development, Pierre, or the lack thereof, where if you can get some of these college guys where these quarterbacks are having success to help maximize what makes them successful, you probably should go do that. So it's good to see them exhausting every avenue.
Yeah, and also to that point, I think with play calling, you either got it or you don't. And I hate to just boil it down to something that just sounds so.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Yeah,
it's like that dog, brother.
Yeah, like you either have it's an innate feeling, and you can try to build it out as much as you can and try to work hard on things. But I'll give you an example. Look at Jonathan Gannon. Jonathan Gannon made his way up through the coaching ranks. He was a hot name. There was no question about it. When we got Jonathan Gannon, we were like, oh, this is a guy that was getting head coaching looks. Like he was a guy that a lot of people wanted. He learned his bastardized version of the Fangio system, and he tried to run it there. He tried to run it as hard as he could. He tried his best, but he didn't have it. And then you see somebody who comes in like Vic, who understands it and clearly has it. There's just a clear difference, right, in how they're able to just set up a game, how they're setting things up for later in the game, remembering what happened earlier in the game, like we talked about with Zach Robinson and that kind of.
What's that thing the word of the day we had in the last podcast? What's the word of the day we had for last podcast, Pierre? That feel. It's the feel of the game, man.
Feel. No, it's 100% the feel of the game, and some guys got it, some guys don't. And Charlie Weiss Jr. does. I mean, you saw it.
Do you know how you get it?
Experience.
No.
Reps.
Gotta
You
make
born
sure you
with it.
ride the bus today.
Oh, that's true. Ride the bus.
No, but that's exactly what I was going to
did you
say,
drive?
Parf. That's exactly what I was going to say, Parf. Like, of course, shout out to my brother, our resident comic book guy. But see, the problem with these play callers or these wannabe play callers is they think they are born into the darkness. They have simply adopted it and think that they are that kind of guy. No, you really have
Not that
to
guy,
be.
buddy. Not
You
that
really have to be a special kind of player to make play calling work, man.
Yeah, and honestly, like I can even tell you that it starts from a young age because I can remember in practices, even in high school, where guys would just kind of like understand what to call in certain places. Oh, I would be calling this year. I don't have it. I'll never be under any understanding that I have it. Like I don't, I don't think that way. But I had some friends who would just be like, oh yeah, like, dude, why would you not run like on the defense side of the ball? They'd be like, dude, I would just really run cover 3 here. Like, why would they not just do that? And for some guys, it clicks like that. And you're meant to be an OC there. And then some people are meant to be a head coach, right? Nick is not a play caller, but he can do things that a head coach can do, right? So there's just different
I won't
things.
say Nick is not a play caller. I think Nick need to stop acting like a word we can't use on this podcast. But
Maybe.
I think the offense looked a lot better when he actually got involved compared to when he didn't. The problem with all this, and I said this last part, when Nick
Either it's the
stop
thing
being
where like
scared about it, brother. Last time you tried this was 4 or 5 years ago after 8 games, and it didn't work. It was your first year trying this. You are 5 years down the line. You didn't have
that also plays into
coordinators, and you
but that also
learned
plays into who
anything?
you are as a play caller, right? Like that also it works hand in hand, right? Because as a play caller, you have to be able to know what works and what doesn't, but you also have to have a short-term memory and be able to be like, all right, it's the same as being a quarterback or a shooter or a baseball
He's
player.
a wide receiver. He doesn't.
Yeah, like yeah,
Mhm.
he's thinking too
And
much
I
about
think
it.
He
it.
thinks
I
about
think
the
it
life
also.
that speaks kindly in the back.
Exactly.
I think it also was a thing where it's like either way, if he took over play calling, he was screwed. If he didn't take over play calling, he was screwed. Like because either way, his buddy would have been wrong, and by proxy, he would have been wrong.
Mhm.
Yeah,
So
I for future reference, Nick, if it's going wrong, brother, just take over then.
yeah,
Like it's better to I honestly
Like,
everyone would have
seriously?
been more impressed with action over inaction.
Yeah.
honestly, like
Mhm.
you don't hear anybody.
Just try
and
something.
I joked like Dan Campbell has like the greatest PR ever, but you don't hear anybody saying anything about Dan Campbell.
Right.
And it's like
tried.
it worked for like a week.
Right.
And then after that, the offense got progressively worse and worse and worse. But he
He
tried.
tried.
He put his hand in the jar and was like, look, if ain't nothing working, I would give me the ball. Give me the ball.
100%, dude. I admired the move at the time, and I still respect it after the season. Obviously, it didn't work out the way they wanted, but neither did our season. You gotta do what you gotta do.
Best for the team, he feels like he did. He feels like he did. That's what he said in his press conference.
That worries me.
Best for the team.
That worries me. Not gonna lie, Nick. That worries me. It seems like your finger is not on the pulse, but that's a problem for another day. Before we get out of here, you guys know how Lane Kiffin got into coaching?
Oh my God.
Wait, we got our own coordinator names. That was just a confirmed list. I only got one guy though.
Oh my God, yeah. How many more names, dude? Jesus Christ.
3. Now go, Pierre. You got one, I got one, and Parf got one. Let's make it quick.
Rams offensive coordinator, Mike LaFleur. LaFleur, he's sort of the hybrid of the McVay and Shanahan systems where he's coached under both guys, and I think you see elements. You said what?
Aren't they the same thing? No, seriously, this is me.
Yes and no. Yes and no. I think like McVay is more zone.
It's the same thing, but
Shanahan is
quarterbacks.
Shanahan is more like West Coast kind of zone hybrid.
Okay.
There's little intricate differences in both. But I think that's why I think with LaFleur, you see, some instances of both where it's the West Coast play action passing game versus with McVay, it's the zone run game. He's talked a lot in the past about the value of kind of like pure progressions for his quarterback and kind of his overall goal in the passing game, making the picture clearer for the QB and kind of avoiding overthinking. Talked about the, importance of structure and organizing concepts in a manner that kind of allows the quarterback to play very confidently. Former Jets offensive coordinator, he did call plays there, so he checks that box. And he essentially lost his job with the Jets because of the Zach Wilson debacle. Now I don't know how much of that was more so Zach Wilson being garbage as a quarterback versus Mike LaFleur and his ineptitude, I guess. But I mean, if you look at statistically speaking, when Zach Wilson got benched and Joe Flacco and Mike White played, the offense hummed when the backups went versus Zach Wilson. But they still decided to fire him. So that's what I got on Mike LaFleur.
Yeah, if your play calling experience is from just historically atrocious offenses, it's tough for me to buy it. I honestly think
he does do a lot as far as like the passing game with the Rams and McVay right now, though, like design wise.
Yeah, I mean, I get it to an extent. I don't know. To me, a lot of these guys, I mean, I'm about to name one myself, but I think a lot of these guys, I just don't have a ton of faith in the offshoots. I think you're taking a big chance with that. I also think Shanahan and McVay have the same offense, but one of them has the quarterback with, like, he's playing the puppet master, and the other one has a quarterback with just like a rocket arm, and that's just what's kind of led to the teams changing a little bit. But I think, Q, you're on mute, bro.
That kind of goes
Wouldn't
with
be
the
a
schematic
podcast without it.
differences. Yeah, that kind of goes in with the schematic differences are where one rather be the puppet master, like you said. Now, don't get me wrong. Like JP Acosta said when he came on, the big difference between Brock and Mac Jones this year was Brock was able to operate and willing to operate out of structure a little more. But for lack of a better term, the difference is Sean is okay with Matt going out there and saying, look, I know you called this play, but I got one of my receivers one-on-one at the top of the screen. I'm going there. All right, cool. You do you, veteran quarterback. I don't think Shanahan would like that.
All right. So then just to get this over with, because to be honest with you, I'm not much interested in any of these names. To me, if you don't get McDaniel or Charlie Weiss Jr., I think, to me personally, I'm going to be just talking myself into them more than anything.
He said, like, look, y'all done said the guys we need.
Yeah. Like I'll be excited, but it'll be talking myself into excitement because I really think those two guys are the guys who can maximize this, and I feel confident on it. The other guys are just I have too many questions on. I'll go with Nate Shieldhouse on the Rams as well. But like I kind of said, don't know if I love
first time play
callers, just kind of like the offshoots from the guys, but. Another guy, photographic memory, just kind of has like he does all the charting for all the McVay run game and everything they have going on there, which obviously is extremely complicated. So he has a good understanding of that. And like I kind of mentioned with what is appealing to me about Mike McDaniel is that that's what he was for Kyle Shanahan back in the day. And I think just having that run game base is extremely important for just finding quick success, and then I think you can build a passing game off of that. But yeah, I guess I'll go with Shieldhouse. But again, I really just want one of those top two guys.
Yeah, I can't do nothing but agree with you, brother. That was my guy, Nate Shieldhouse. You
want me to take another one then?
Nah, you already did your thing, man. And I mean, we're hour 30 in, might as well get him out. But 4-year starter, 2-time team captain for the Illinois Fighting Illini. Go Big Ten. He served on the Rams after spending 6 seasons on Iowa State staff. Of course, that's the big thing right there. The time he spent under Matt Campbell on that staff. Of course, Matt Campbell, his relationship with Nick Sirianni, dating back to their time in Mount Union. So clearly, you can see the trend here. You're trying to find somebody that fills all voids of they can relate to everybody in the room. I mean, we talk about the cohabitation matrix. It doesn't just relate to the players. It's coaching staff as well. But a guy in Shieldhouse who he was the Cyclones offensive coordinator, quarterbacks coach, spent 2 seasons as the running backs and wide receivers coach, took on run game coordinator responsibilities from 2021 to 2022, and just kind of did a little bit of everything. Wore a man of multiple hats during this time with the Cyclones. And I mean, now with the Rams, of course, him being the pass game coordinator. My whole issue with the team elevating Kevin Patullo is the passing game sucked. How can you elevate a pass game coordinator and the pass game isn't good? Well, the Rams passing game is good. It's really good. You got Puka Nacua, who's damn near on pace to set NFL records for how good he's been. You got Devontae Adams, damn near gosh. What can you do in the red zone?
He's sitting there telling everybody in the red
zone?
Don't leave.
When you
he's
get in the red
saying,
zone,
don't leave because it doesn't get better than this.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like when you get in the red zone, he's just automatic, man. Automatic. Like you look at, of course, what's going on in the run game, and I mean, of course, him as the pass game coordinator, but he has his hands, he has fingerprints.
I had it mixed up. Yeah, my bad.
No, you good, brother. He had his fingerprints all over the offense, which is why I didn't say anything, because he is involved in sorts of the run game, but he's more pass game coordinator. Where I just think, wow, he has never called plays, and that's the big kicker here. Never called plays. I feel like we need a guy in here that at least makes the future bright, man. Like Kevin Patullo left us with a lot of optimism, but there was never really a reason to truly say the future is bright. We were sitting there talking. We went back to Shane Gailey reps, man. Shane Gailey ain't been in the NFL since like 2008, man.
Brother, when I tell you to find information on him, I have to like scour the internet, bro. Shane Gailey, dog. Well, I sold myself on it too. I sold myself on it.
That's what I said. Like I'm sure I'll sell myself on whoever, but like, would it be an easier sell for you? Like, I don't know. How hard? No, I think the question I'm trying to ask is how hard of a sell would it be for you to have another offseason where it's like, this guy has not called plays before? Because that was like our biggest thing last year, where it was like, he hasn't called plays before, so we'll see.
I don't think they'd hire a guy who hasn't called plays before.
That's kind of what I'm asking.
I think that's a prerequisite for this job.
That's how I kind of feel too, man. It's just like you need to have that experience.
They need somebody with a track record.
I think one more name. Now this one is, I think, in that kind of earlier couple tiers that we had talked about, but we don't know if it'll happen. Is Stefanski, right? Ton of Philadelphia connections.
I've heard he's highly connected to Atlanta
Falcons.
So I saw Atlanta had Stefanski on the list, but also Kubiak, Clint Kubiak.
I don't think they want to wait till the season's over in Seattle. I have seen him linked to Atlanta too, but kind of ultimately comes down to, are you willing to wait it out?
Right. Well, I hope they wait it out because it'd be cool to bring him home. That's a guy who you'll only have for a year, but I think I like what he's been able to do in limited time. I mean, the amount of quarterbacks that he went through with the Browns is nuts. Every time I like Shio Kabadi was talking about it on the Ringers Philly special, and like just reading the list of quarterbacks, and as he was going through it, I just had the image in my head of like that Browns jersey. You know, the one where they like just keep putting like the name patch on and it gets longer and longer and longer. It's nuts, dude.
Tim Couch.
Like, dude.
Johnny Manziel.
Brady Quinn. Brandon Whedon.
Brandon Whedon, dude.
Jason Campbell.
Brandon Whedon, I remember when he was on the Cowboys, dude. I just remember thinking, like, what a long neck on that guy. He reminded me of a giraffe.
Not longer than
Davis Mills.
Yeah, Davis Mills is special. Davis Mills is special. I mean, that's legit, man. He probably was like 6'2", and then the neck gives him like 3 inches. He's 6'5". Like that's
great. The neck gives him like 3 inches.
All right, we got to get out of here, man. Hour 45.
Wait, one more. I guess you can call it football related, but it's not really, not technically not. But if they do hire Dayball, the Nick Sirianni Dayball level of crash out on the sideline.
That's
how do we mitigate this?
That's also part of the reason I don't know.
We just put Dayball in the booth.
It's like elevated. What the kids used to say back in my day, they used to call it glowed up. Glowed up is what that would be.
Didn't he just break a headset this year?
Yes.
Yeah, like, dude, oh my God. I don't know if I could do it, man. Just two obnoxious idiots. Like, I can deal with one obnoxious idiot.
You know what comes to mind? LSU, Nick Saban and
Will Muschamp.
Yeah, crashing out on the sideline.
Like, dog, you see that video of them on the sideline of Sirianni and Patullo doing that high five? Just imagine that being bald head Brian Dable. The aura just changes in the room.
Oh my God, I
It
could not
changes.
see. I could not see worse of. Or I could not see more of an aura drop off of when like Brian Dabble's bald ass head is just turning red out of frustration on the sideline, just like. And then Nick is just sitting there like, ugh. And then you got Big Dom and Hurt trying to break up the two of them. There's like,
just call the fucking play, man.
Somebody just shoot me. I will. Oh my God, that would be my nightmare. That would honestly be my nightmare. All right,
get out of here, man.
Just 3 dudes talking ball, man.
It's
11,
and
it's
next year,
11:06.
I know. Wish list for next year: less Big Dom, less Big Dom.
Yeah.
I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it. I've had enough.
I'm Big Dommed out.
No more of it. Okay, no more.
You know what we didn't. You know what we didn't see this year? The press box cuts to Lurie. We didn't see enough of those.
Because he was disgusted every game. Just sitting there like,
oh. Those only work with the Cowboys when you go into the Jerry Jones. Like, it's kind of a prerequisite for him.
Bro, it's like it's clockwork, bro. Every time something stupid happens to the Cowboys, they immediately cut to Jerry.
And Jerry's just either sitting there stone faced or he'll literally have his head in his hands and he's like, oh my God, he's taking off his glasses and he's like, oh boy, need to readjust my eyes to take this all in. But nobody answered my question. Do you know how Kiffin got his first job?
His father.
Yeah, his father at USC, right?
No. So basically, he was on the Fresno State football team, and I think it was David Carr who was a starter at the time.
Oh, yeah.
David Carr was getting all the reps, and so Kiffin one day went out to practice. Everyone's in practice, yeah, and then he was just like, I'm not playing. So then his dad was like, the hell you're not, like you're definitely playing. And so then Kiffin was like, no, I'm not playing. And asked the coach, he's like, well, can I coach? Coach was like, sure. And then since then he's been a coach. He just quit at practice one day and then became coach. I think that was very telling for what he
man. They say quitters never prosper, but you never met Lane Kiffin.
Yeah, that man has definitely prospered. Now, emotionally, religiously, anything positively prospered? No, but his wallet, that man has definitely made some damn money. I'll tell you that much. He'll take everything you're worth, just like he did when he pretended he was going to go to Auburn. But I digress. We're going to take Charlie Weiss Jr. and then he's going to be in the shitter, and I'm going to laugh.
Like I said, brother, somebody got to be the bad guy, man. Somebody got to be the heel.
There's plenty of bad guys. Just stop talking to girls who are like 19, dude. It's just weird. It's weird. Odd, I got some standards. All right, be like Urban Meyer. Urban Meyer. At least Urban Meyer was like hitting on some like 50-year-old woman.
Hey, chill,
right?
chill.
Listen,
another guy that bought me a national championship.
Yeah, me too, buddy. Me too. He brought me 2 of them. I'm thankful for it. But hey, we're calling a spade a spade. He was at the Urban Meyer Grill under a picture of him and his wife grabbing onto another woman. I was like, oh, come on.
Call a spade a club right now. Okay.
No.
Because he was in the club chilling.
That man needs to find God. Put it that way. Find God.
This was a damn good time, y'all. We enjoy off-season football. I mean, everything be so business central during the season. Got to get y'all the stats. Got to get y'all the previews. Got to get y'all all the reviews. But I don't know.
Good to just chop it up, bro.
Man. And especially the people in the chat. I think that's what made this even more fun. This is literally like what we've been asking for. This is awesome. Yeah. Thank you guys. Yeah. Thank you.
More interaction.
Ray, Kyle. I don't know.
James.
I'm about to say, you just not gonna say James? You a hater.
I was scrolling up. You can't go 2 times on a live pod, buddy.
Gotta find you a new name. Jahan Dawson's not on the team no more, so we don't know who you'll be anymore.
Shout out Tyler. But yeah, we really appreciate it.
The more interaction, the better. It really helps to push the conversation forward.
Exactly.
But at an hour and almost 50 minutes. This is probably our second longest pod outside the draft pods, but at an hour and almost 50 minutes, this is a good place to stop it. As always, if you're listening after the stream, be sure to leave us a like and a review on whichever podcast streaming platform you're listening on. Rate us 5 stars. We'll be back next Tuesday. Discuss if they hire an OC.
Wait.
What's up?
It might not be Tuesday. I think I work Tuesday. It might be Monday.
We'll post on Twitter regardless, and also make sure you hit the notification bell if you're on YouTube or if you're on Twitter. Go to the page and turn on notifications for when we go live. That way you can join us every time. And appreciate you.
Yeah, at the Philly Blitz _ on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok.
And then YouTube, the 14th Market Network.
You can just turn on
notifications for live.
And tap into the site. Tap into the site. We're back writing articles.
Also. Yeah, we're back active, trying to get at least an article out a week. We out. Go Birds.
Jalen Tyson at 39?
Yeah.
Oh, boy. I didn't realize it was 39. Go Birds, though. Go Birds. I think enough time has passed.
Go Birds.
Go Birds.